Welcome to the crowdfunding campaign for United Subsistence Surveys. Mission of campaign: to raise funds for a promotional campaign that will be used to persuade Congress to adopt the means for American citizens to earn privately paid and governmentally subsidized income from home by building a database of knowledge and data, and also that will allow American and global citizens to purchase said data and knowledge from said database, with said database being used to help the USA as well as its global patrons run at peak efficiency both governmentally and commercially. With such an asset, a strong, more secure economic base could be structured along with a more equitable distribution of wealth for the nation's populace. Before I continue, it's best to view this presentation full screen. Greetings, American citizens. Relative to the posting date of this video, no doubt you're experiencing hard times in this tragic period in world history. In addition to the health threat, legions of businesses have closed or will fail, millions have thrown out of work, money is running out, and the rent, utilities, and grocery bills are always looming in the dark. And to top it all off, we're encouraged to self-quarantine to avoid going into social environments where we can at least try to make a living. This, plus the fact that no one knows how long it will take the American economy to rebound, makes way for some gloomy times for coming months or years. Whether corona or not, millions of Americans are normally one paycheck away from bad times, $400 away from the street or hard financial situations. Along with that, wealth imbalance has generated a global economic scenario of the elite 1% owning 50% of the world's wealth. Andrew Yang proposed the freedom dividend to balance the economic scales, giving each adult U.S. citizen age 18 or above $1,000 a month. Then there's talk of a UBI, or universal basic income, as high as $2,000 a month. But I say, instead of simply giving everyone the money, and possibly creating a monster of a budget deficit and lazier populace in the process, why not let them earn it by taking part in a process that generates valuable and strategic knowledge and data beneficial to the various sectors, including to the government as well, while also allowing the beneficiaries of that data, as well as the American business and public sectors, to contribute to the process. I'm talking about a process that would turn the disadvantage of home quarantine confinement into the advantage of home office employment, and the waste of idle time into the great asset of profitable time, whether times are good, bad, crippled by health matters, or not. And that aforementioned process is American citizens getting big bucks to take surveys. Thus, the idea for United Subsistence Surveys, or USS, was born, with its slogan, Feeding America with Knowledge. My goal is to gather support from America's masses to persuade the U.S. government to adopt USS as an official governmental entity. Once in place, it will serve as a source of subsistence incomes for those needing or wanting it. I suggest the URL to be established as uss.gov. At uss.gov, the survey process would allow citizens to give their responses to the most critical of subjects: jobs, economy, healthcare, climate change, down to opinions about particular products, services, on down to what do you think about our music group or movie trailer. My proposed USS.gov homepage is shown above as gauged via my 19-inch HP computer monitor. It will consist of the header and links, including the USA.gov link, along with spaces for large banner ads for ad sponsors, with said ad sponsors paying a premium per period, whether week or month, for a spot, and all banners being linked to the URLs designated by the ad sponsors. The donate button leads to a page where citizens can donate tax deductible to the USS process. Clicking the green ad sponsors leads to the support our ad sponsors page, where members can view ads by advertising sponsors. At top is a blow-up of the header and links portion of the USS.gov homepage. Below that is the logged-in version, where the logged-in member can click his/her name, example, Welcome J. Doe, to access his/her profile page. The figure above shows the composition of the internal pages: header, links, add banners, page content, about. Clicking on Lady Liberty or United Subsistence Surveys takes the visitor back to the USS homepage. Clicking the Support Our Ad Sponsors area leads to the Support Our Ad Sponsors page. The viewer can also click the Here above to find his or her nearest USS agency. And of course, all USS members will each have their own profile page, where they can access, update profile info, as well as manage other aspects of their account. Plus, they could register for a fee each any business, organizational entity, or entities they have official authority to represent, and thereby sponsor surveys under those entities if they wish. Their page will also include their current photo, their name, and USS member number. Now I'll give a run-through of the overall process. However, also see the detailed schematics. More on that later. Adult U.S. citizens with an SSN number, ID proof, proof of birth date, and email would first pay a fee, maybe $5, to receive a photo code from a local USS photo agent, whereby the agent would take their picture and upload it and their data to the USS database along with its applicable code. Photos would be required to be updated every 5 years, with each update requiring a renewal fee to help cover costs. The photo code process would also be available to military personnel as well as the incarcerated. The citizen would then register his or her account including photo code at uss.gov as employed, unemployed, retired, disabled, military, or incarcerated. If additional proof of status besides income tax statements are needed, the citizen would provide it via file upload and or other means. USS registration examiners would thusly verify all info via the IRS, Social Security, and other such agencies, with all such info being updated as statuses change. Registration info would also include a method by which the citizen would like to receive pay from the USS. Once a registrant is accepted as a USS member, he or she would then log in and complete basic data fields in all available categories, qualifying him or her to take surveys submitted by survey sponsors, which would then make him or her a survey respondent. Respondents whose responses match data fields of survey sponsors then qualify to take those surveys. From then on, he or she could complete a more detailed qualifying survey list, qualifying him or her for more surveys matching the more specific subject matter. The more detailed and specific the data provided, the greater chance of qualifying for more surveys of more specific nature. The detailed categorical qualifications would be connected to USS's Master Categorical List, or MCL, which would be a gigantic master list listing virtually all subjects and categories that could conceivably be categorized and that are practical to be used in surveys. Custom categorical or CC qualifications would be those qualifications custom designed by survey sponsors to meet their specific requirements for respondents when basic and detailed requirements don't cover said specific requirements. CC qualifications would be posted separately from their applicable surveys, whereby respondents could choose to complete them as individual or mini surveys. More details are coming later. Unless receiving special USS permission, respondents won't generally be allowed to update their basic and detailed qualifying submissions for a designated period, maybe 6 months, in order to deter those respondents who may fish for surveys or who may constantly alter their submissions in an attempt to falsely qualify for more surveys. However, if there is an overabundance of surveys for everyone, fishing wouldn't even be needed or even practical. Whatever the case, USS registration monitors would keep track of and work to verify data submitted by respondents. Respondents would have to complete the qualifying data fields, basic and detailed, only once, not for each survey like other survey sites force you to, because all survey sponsors would base their qualifications on those same fields, but with their own entries that match their own preferred values. For subject matter not specifically covered by the standard basic detailed qualifying fields, sponsors will be able to compose custom qualifications whereby respondents could complete those as they wish. With all required qualifications completed, the respondent is now eligible to take surveys. All respondent entries that successfully filter through the basic, detailed, and, if applicable, custom qualifications will lead to the respondents being able to select those applicable surveys in their site or app survey selectors and thereby take them and get paid. In other words, all such surveys the respondent has access to completing will be guaranteed. No more rip-off surveys. There will be absolutely no completing of zillion questions or even a whole survey before taking an actual survey, only to end up suffering the fate of, sorry, you are not qualified, here is 1 cent, or how about this beauty? Not every survey can be a winner, but keep trying. After you tried the prior 25, wasting your time, frustrating your mood. Instead, it will be the sponsor's responsibility and liability to ensure that he or she has included all needed qualifications before having a survey posted. Also, there will be no more clicking on a survey supposedly gauged at 5 minutes only to be switched over to one actually taking 20 minutes for the same pay. Instead, USS survey testers will officially gauge the times for all surveys posted, thereby giving a more accurate time of completion. That being said, all surveys will be required to be designed to allow all qualifying respondents to continue unto completion. There will be no hanging questions stopping progress. Answer options such as NA, none, or other will be available as necessary. Also, back buttons will be required to allow respondents to correct mistakes. Plus more, all surveys will be rated both by USS and by the respondent base regarding difficulty, enjoyableness, content, and duration, so you'd know whether or not the survey is for you. In order to take any survey, the respondent must first have access to an internet-connected webcam, allowing USS survey monitors unobstructed access to his or her face, ensuring that the logged-in respondent is indeed the actual person completing the survey, and thereby giving genuine demographic data to the paying survey sponsor. The photo code will provide and post the respondent's photo and will be automatically incorporated into the program that allows the monitor to watch over respondents, with each monitor watching back and forth between maybe 100 respondents at a time. If warranted, monitors would also be able to interrupt surveys to further verify a respondent's identity. Respondents would be allowed to take breaks if available. To take a survey, respondents would select Take Surveys on the Surveys page. They can then search broadly for all or most surveys available or narrow search results by using the filter fields to access more preferred categories. The only categories and fields available will be those loaded with data pertinent to surveys the respondents are qualified for. Once satisfied, the respondent clicks the search button to reveal the search results for qualifying guaranteed surveys. Any qualified surveys would then be accessible via his or her Select Survey selector, whereby he or she could take the survey or store it for later. Among other details, the respondent could view the survey number and title, USS rating, USS STC or standard time of completion, respondent pay, etc. When ready to take a survey, the respondent clicks the Take Survey button, connects with a USS survey monitor via webcam connection, clicks OK, and then gains access to the survey. If the sponsor paid for a survey commercial, the respondent would first have to watch it, but it would be limited to 1 minute or less. Afterward, he or she could click the Start Survey button to begin taking the survey, store the survey for later, delete the survey entirely, or just close the page. During survey completions, all ads will be omitted to avoid distracting the concentration of the respondent. If there are any breaks allowed, a break button would appear and be active for selection only according to the maximum amount of breaks allowed. When the survey is completed, the respondent will click the Submit Survey button, after which he or she will have the option of specifying contact info for the sponsor, will be required to rate the survey with the option of also giving a reason for the rating, and can then confirm submission of the survey, becoming eligible to receive pay. However, the pay can be reduced or even the whole survey disqualified if inadequate and/or inappropriate responses were given. The respondent could also delete the survey if desired. Regarding survey pay, USS membership would include 3 sectors: the employed, unemployed, and the incarcerated. The employed sector would encompass the self-employed employees, military personnel, the retired, and the disabled. The employed and the incarcerated are self-explanatory. Survey pay would be based on members of employed status earning 20 cents per minute or $12 an hour, which would be significantly higher than those payments normally encountered online regarding the other survey hosts. For example, surveys 25 minutes pay 75 cents. Instead of following the standard pay format, the government would match or subsidize the sponsor's contribution. Regarding this, the employed, military, retired, disabled would earn 20 cents per minute or 10 cents plus 10 cents, the unemployed 5 cents plus 5 cents, and the incarcerated maybe 2.5 cents plus 2.5 cents, with the money perhaps going into a capital fund former convicts can use to start a business upon release, better preventing recidivism. Survey sponsors would also be able to offer merit pay to particular respondents giving the better survey responses or performances. Monthly total earning limits: $1,000 for the employed, military, retired, disabled, $500 for the unemployed, and maybe $250 for the incarcerated. All pay for everyone, tax-free. In exchange for the subsidy, the government would have access to all data collected from all surveys. Now you may ask, why wouldn't the unemployed be paid the same as the employed? Aren't they the ones more in need? First, many survey sponsors tend to favor respondents more financially blessed, those more able and likely to purchase the products and services surveys are about. Secondly, the employed are usually fatigued after a work day and would need extra incentive to complete surveys. And finally, the McDonald's, Burger Kings, and Walmarts of the world always need workers, and a $1,000 a month, especially tax-free salary, could be just enough to keep a significant portion of job applicants at home, straining workforce availability for many such employers. Remember, we want enough pay to keep citizens subsidized, in other words, United Subsistence Surveys, not United Employment Surveys. People may also ask, should the government get into the survey and advertising, including classifieds game, competing with the commercial sector? I say why not, especially if it's extra beneficial to the citizenry. Isn't the government already in the shipping delivery games, basically competing alongside UPS, FedEx, and DHL? Also, what about URL domains? Why shouldn't the .com, .org, etc. be issued by the government instead of by commercial registrars? Regarding that, couldn't patents, trademarks, and copyrights be just as easily registered with private firms instead of with government, since infringement cases are prosecuted by private attorneys anyway and not by government? Getting back to surveys, stored delayed surveys is pretty much straightforward. Respondents can store untaken surveys they're interested in completing or delay ones they were taking and were allowed to delay but want to resume later. Surveys discontinue and are reaching their respondent limit will be automatically deleted from selection via web app programming. Now we're at another intriguing aspect of USS, the purchasing of survey data. The purchasing of standard data will yield the results in quantity amounts only and will be based on data available by way of USS's MCL with regard to available respondent info stored in registration info and all survey qualification info except custom. The data will be accessible via the arrangement of data fields regarding the categories and fields of your interest. First, you would set your demographic target. Then you would set the data fields regarding the data you desire applicable to that target. For example, if your goal is to find the quantity of adult citizens supporting paying college athletes, adult citizens would be your target. And supporting paying college athletes would be your data desired applicable to that target. Once the appropriate data fields are completed, the member can then review the data and then confirm purchase or cancel it. If confirmed, the purchase goes through and the quantitative results are received. For more specific demographic targets and data desired, simply add as many categories and fields as necessary to cover your desired data fields. Example, the target portion of NCAA football head coaches supporting paying college athletes would be accommodated by the field of physique and completing all relevant fields, and by adding the field of occupation and completing those relevant fields. The data desired portion of NCAA football head coaches who support paying college athletes and who hunt and fish would be accommodated by the field of issues, concerns, and by adding the field of hobbies and interests. The purchasing of specific data will allow you to receive not only quantitative results, but also to personally connect with respondents as well regarding shared categories of interest. This could be done either by purchasing an email ad for networking purposes or for selling products or services, whereby your email will be sent directly to email opt-ins selecting to receive your type of email, or by purchasing for networking purposes only a USS respondent scan. This will be a message sent to USS members matching your desired demographics. Positive responses would then be stored in the USS database for you to purchase at your own affordable quantities. More details are coming. First, you would compose your title and message, and then arrange your data fields regarding your desired respondent demographic target. We can see the target is all civilian, military, and incarcerated people of all genders age 18 or above, or adults. Next, you arrange your data fields to obtain your data desired regarding said desired respondent demographic target. The field of issues concerns is selected, and its fields are set up for human rights for people of the civilian and military sectors who are NCAA players, athletes, and who should be paid in favor of. So, combining both target and data desired, we get civilian, military, and incarcerated adults who, regarding human rights for civilians and military personnel who are NCAA players, athletes, are in favor of them being paid. After the data fields are satisfactory, you then click the Purchase Scan button to start the purchasing process. Next, you would view and check over the subject matter and then click the Continue button if all is okay, thereby prompting web programming to calculate scan fees. Clicking a provided link would summon a rate chart, working in conjunction with scan fees, or $475, to give an indication of the quantity range, but not definite quantity, of the quantity of qualified recipients who would receive the scan. Definite quantities would have to be purchased. Added note, whenever applicable, business organizational entities will be allowed to write off survey sponsorships and data purchases as business expenses. If the price is right, you would click Confirm Purchase, and the scan info would be sent to a USS monitor for inspection and, if accepted, immediately released to the target respondent base. Your purchase would then grant you immediate access to the exact current quantity of qualifying members eligible to receive your scan. When the scan is released to the respondent base, you would also be able to keep track of the current scan results regarding how many of the qualifying respondent base have thus far responded positively to your message, which of course would be 0 at first. USS would send scan message recipients only one email daily regarding any scans relative to their demographic, with all titles of messages from all scan purchasers of that day being included in that singular email. The recipients could then visit their profile page to access and manage the individual messages, either responding positively if interested or deleting them if not. However, no negative responses would be allowed because the USS promises only positive responses to scan purchasers for any specific data they choose to purchase from the respondent pool. As well, the scan purchaser would receive a daily email updating him or her on the respondent results, and also continuously including the quantity of qualifying respondents eligible to give a response, whereby he or she could click the Purchase Data button, leading to the Login dialog box of his or her USS profile page, where he or she may access it via the selectors, and where he or she may purchase scanned data, which would give him or her access to all respondent messages of a positive nature. He or she could purchase all results available or could set any data fields desired to filter for certain demographics within the main demographic. Example: the main demographic was seeking contact with citizens supporting paying college athletes, which yielded 333,081 respondent results so far. The scan purchaser wants specific data for AM/FM chief radio announcers supporting paying college athletes, and therefore sets the data fields for that, after which he or she clicks Purchase Data and accesses the Purchase Scan Data dialog box, allowing him or her to see exactly how many available respondents fall within that particular demographic. Based upon price per respondent and the quantity available, he or she can then enter how many respondent messages to purchase or can purchase all. Afterward, clicking Continue leads to the confirmation process, where the data becomes available in the purchaser selector on the profile page. The purchaser can now access his or her purchase data by selecting the particular data title via his or her selectors. He or she then sets his or her data fields and clicks View Data, where he or she can then view all respondent data and messages, reply to any or all, and or report any violators who respond negatively or inappropriately. As said, global citizens would be able to buy survey data, and could eventually be incorporated into a global USS type of system, allowing all people to take national and global surveys as well as buy survey data nationally or globally, thereby blessing the entire planet with data and knowledge. John wishes to sponsor a survey relevant to his USS registered business entity, Bowling's Electronic Delights. He accesses the Sponsor a Survey option from his selector, types in his survey title, 5G mobile phones and family usage, and clicks Save Update Draft to save the survey and have it ready to access later. He then completes the survey details fields, with the last completed field automatically activating the Continue button. John clicks it and moves on, where he completes his Respondent Qualification Basic Requirements field, whereby, after completing the last field, he could either click the Continue button or opt to add and complete detailed categorical categories in fields and then click Continue when finished. John opts to add detailed categorical categories and fields and then clicks Continue when finished. Again, the detailed categorical selection list is connected with USS's MCL. The page refreshes and allows John the option of setting his custom requirements for his survey respondents. Since his survey deals with mobile phones, he selects products as the field and communication as the category. Thus, if and when respondents select this type of field and category to complete when completing their list of custom requirements, John's requirements will be there for them to access. After completing his field and category data, John clicks the Customize button to begin the customization process. He then uses USS Tools to construct his custom requirements mini-survey that respondents must complete to qualify for his survey. Above, he poses the question they must answer, and below, he checks the box of the qualifying answer. John then saves the data, closes the fields, and reopens custom requirements via the selectors, where he can examine the content for accuracy and then post Engage, whereby he would pay to have the custom requirements posted so that respondents may complete the fields, and so that he may gauge how many total respondents have qualified at any particular time. John can now opt to gauge his survey details along with respondent qualification basic requirements with or without detailed categorical, and or can compose his survey. John selects to post and gauge the survey details basic requirements and include detailed categorical, allowing for a more precise gauging of qualifying respondents. He then proceeds through the payment process and is now able to gauge and keep track of how many total qualifying respondents there are on the particular date. This info and custom requirements will help John determine when and if it's a good time to run his survey. If and when John decides to run his survey, he could either upload a priorly prepared one or compose one using USS Tools. John selects to use USS Tools, whereupon, after completion, he marks the survey as complete, saves it, and closes the fields. The survey is now available in the selector set View, Edit, Surveys Complete. John can now test the survey for errors. John successfully enters test entries and navigates through the fields to find everything is working okay. John is now ready to submit his survey to USS survey agents for evaluation, gauging, pricing, and, if necessary, editing. The submission is confirmed, the fee is paid, and John will wait for USS approval and will monitor the approval status via his selectors. John monitors his survey submission status. If, when approved, he can then pay the fee and post it, and then gauge respondent quantity afterward until survey expiration. Later, he finds it's been accepted, assigned a survey number, and gauged by USS survey testers. After becoming satisfied with the quantity of qualifying respondents, John decides to post the survey. After clicking the Post Survey button, he sets the respondent quantity limit based on the quantity of respondents he wishes to pay. Here he sees he'll be paying the unemployed, employed ones $1.25 and $2.50 each, with their total USS subsidized pay being $2.50 and $5 respectively. He then selects to put the limit at 1,000 respondents and chooses not to include a merit bonus. After clicking Continue, he then sees the posting fee, $50 per year, plus respondent pay, $2,500 set for the employed, equal $2,550 total he must pay. However, he'll receive a refund on all responses received below the 1,000 quantity for the year, $1.25 back regarding each unemployed respondent, and for all inadequate or inappropriate answers and surveys. He clicks Confirm Post, and the fees are paid, the survey posted, ready for qualifying respondents to take. With his survey posted, John can now view survey results, where he can see how many more respondents can take his survey, and the average rating respondents have given his survey so far. John can access his survey results by arranging demographic data fields or by individual selections, whereby the entire quantity of individual respondents would appear in the selector, distinguished via survey response numbers S3, SR1, S3, SR2, etc. See the next slide. John's results become individually accessible via the selection of survey response numbers. He can now see how long this particular respondent took to complete the survey, the rating the respondent gave for the survey, the entries received for the entire survey, any contact info the respondent cared to leave, and/or can report the respondent for any violations. Regarding violations, all USS surveys will be required to have entry numbers for all survey response fields, allowing for easy reporting of any particular entries. On the Support Our Ad Sponsors page, viewers could select to view banner ads or survey video commercials that survey sponsors pay to include in their surveys, which are 1 minute or less videos that respondents must watch before gaining access to the survey. Viewers would select the types of banner ads they wish to see and could click any banner to transfer to the URL selected by the ad sponsor. All viewers could access survey video commercials, but of course only respondents could take the surveys associated with them. Respondents could choose to watch all video commercials within their selected categories or only the ones for the surveys they are qualified for. Survey qualified, take survey. USS classifieds are pretty much straightforward. Viewers select ads based on categories. They'd also be able to filter locations. Members will have their choice of placing banner or email ads. Banner ad prices will be based on placement and duration. Email ads will be based on price per email, such as 1 cent each sent to recipients opting into receiving email ads relevant to preferred categories. At left, shown in part, John has chosen to place a banner ad. He would be able to access a rate space availability chart and then could select placement. After submitting his banner ad for approval and being accepted, he would then pay, after which the USS ad department would schedule his ad to run. Finally, here are my suggested app examples, gauged by way of a 5 1/2 inch iPhone. And finally, what do I want for my time and creative efforts? 1 cent per survey completed per respondent. That's it. That alone will give me sufficient income for a very comfortable lifestyle and allow me to pursue my other entrepreneurial endeavors, all very beneficial to Earth and man. If the government won't allow that, then a GoFundMe page could be set up in my name, widely publicized, of course. In closing, I'd like to emphasize not only would USS grant tremendous economic potential to the U.S. citizenry, it would also provide a vast amount of jobs for USS personnel, most of which could be done from home, pandemic or not. Plus, the USS model could expand into a global entity. No one knows what events will occur, whether good or bad, that will shift the global economic landscape. Whatever lurks in the shadows, wouldn't it sure be nice to have an ace up our sleeves we could use to generate at least some income to keep the economy afloat? Especially if that ace produced the most valuable commodity on Earth, information in the information age. I hope you work with me to spread the word about the USS by contributing to the current fundraising campaign. If there is an active one, it will be available in the link below. Those helping the most will be rewarded. Also, click the link to see the more detailed USS schematics, giving a little more detail regarding web app operations. I won't keep you any longer, and will close by saying, let's give the people this invaluable asset so that we can begin feeding America, and eventually the world, with knowledge. Thanks for your time, and stay safe, well, and alert.